and high-paid niggers, because I personally believe that there was a lot of different plans of having different Africans, or what we call different Nubian people, in different areas for different agendas, in order to be able to keep the world of white supremacy going on ahead. Now, I remember a while ago on the American Nigger Factory, when we talked about manufacturing Negroes throughout black colleges, black schools, different black churches, whether it be Christian, Protestant, and then also spreading over to the Black Power movement, which I've been a part of myself. Now, what is interesting, most people don't realize that hatred through black racism, through white Caucasian cracker racism, both of it is actually $1 billion business. I mean, and that's definitely no doubt on that. But white people in this country, as an African person, wherever you may be, I don't think that you personally need to question yourself on if these people want to destroy us as a people or not. So I don't think that that's actually any more question. But one of the biggest questions is, will African advancement in America, black people in America, and in Africa, and also through other countries, will black advancement become the new form of white supremacy? I mean, I think that's a good question. And the reason why I say that, because I think we actually have more paid millionaires. We actually have a few black billionaires, believe it or not. I mean, that's where you get your Oprah, your Montel, you go into your Jay-Z, your Beyonce. They even had that black woman, Beyonce, one time, I think it was in the Delhi local Times. She actually came out and talked about a recession. When you got Negroes that can't even get beans and rice. I mean, sit back and think about that, Even tonight, we're also going to touch on the prison system created by the devils, right, white ones, how they created the manufacturing prisons, which the correctional facility is financed by the CIA drug narcotic corporation. And one of the reasons why many black people, since I've been on Blog Talk and been doing work out here in Philadelphia, one of the reasons why they push away from my telecast and shows information, because they're afraid to confront this cracker, and they're afraid to even confront their own brethren. And I'm going to tell you that straight up. And what I'm saying to the brothers and sisters listening out there, when you're dealing on truth, standing on truth, you got to take it for what it is, true or false. No Muhammad, no Jesus, none of this, none feel good. The point is, because in order for you really truly to move on for yourself personally, sometimes you need to stand with that individual front. It doesn't mean that we can't be united in our thinking, our spirit, our mind, body, spirit, and soul, or we can't be united as a people. But I'm saying until we realize the fakes from the phonies, until we realize the agents. I mean, because here's another thing. When you are about real black supremacy or real black power and whatnot, you don't have to front it and put over 1,000 to 2,000 YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to front and put so many different things out in order to make yourself look so big and so great. And we have a lot of that goes on in the conscious community, you know what I'm saying? But one of the different things, just to begin tonight's topic and whatnot, is not just only Blog Talk agents, but YouTube agents that are black. Now, Negro, remember I said that Negro is not a color, it's a condition. And from Jim Crowism and whatnot, on that plantation all the way over here, we actually have had African people who have worked against the interests of black people. I mean, even when you go to South Africa, when you deal with Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko, which these brothers were supposed to have been fighting against apartheid. But you found out whatnot that most of them was what? CIA or FBI. And, one of the things that you see a lot of Negroes, they push our people away from any knowledge dealing with FBI, CIA, because they're so afraid, because they personally believe that these people have some power. And that's, personally that's another story. Now, as we get into it, what I also want to deal with is the so-called information literature. But before we get into the information, because I think we might also touch on some scripture tonight, depending on how things go. But let's say basically King Noble, that's the first start of the south side of Chicago now. He was supposed to put together a black nation that's been standing for about 12 years. He put a lot of different work into this nation, okay? Now, what's interesting is that King Noble, throughout the YouTube and throughout a lot of his lectures, he condemns a lot of different black groups. But when he condemns them on black supremacy. I can't knock King Noble personally for black supremacy. I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with it. But when you're going to use your black supremacy movement, that's not a worldwide nation movement, and then you go on YouTube and then you shoot other black people down and whatnot, then I want to know, with this teacher or black god that King Noble calls himself out to be, how can you be considered a black god or a king when you're shooting down your people? And most of the people don't even know half of the story of King Noble's so-called Pan-Africanation. King Noble also made some statements on Brother Louis Farrakhan. I personally touched on him. Brother Supreme touched on him, and I feel that Supreme has the qualifications to do that. Supreme also is the one that blessed me on Blog Talk Radio, so I have no personal animosity towards Brother Supreme or any black person that's doing the work. But what I'm saying is that we're definitely in the time of snakes. So a lot of different times, you can have Negroes throughout YouTube, in your community, in different active centers, especially with the whole Masonic Illuminati movement, which most people say, well, don't touch on that. That's not a real thing. It's real. I mean, almost every black church you found a Negro in there was a Mason. And you found that when they was a Mason and whatnot, they never came out and they would never tell you about what their whole secret was in the lodge, that they made a pledge to the white man in order to keep America running, and that they are working with the FEMA, North Con African Project. So as we go through this information, I hope you can truly see the deception of Black United Africa, and also be able to understand some of the different things that I would personally say. You know what I'm saying? But with that society that he has established over there, they also take a lot of different housing squatters. I mean, you figure in America at this point, would you have 60 million foreclosures? So what King Noble does is they take a lot of the different squatters over there into Chicago. And after they take their squatters into Chicago and whatnot, King Noble recruits different people from different states. Now, some of the women that he has in the video, I know he has one in there named Empress. He has another one in there, I forgot her name. But some of the women that he has in the video and whatnot are not even his personal love counterparts. So what I'm saying is that with King Noble, he's a fake and he's a phony. He's an agent. He's not a black FBI agent of truth and whatnot. He's an agent that's been sent there by the white man. And basically what he does, because how we can prove that is in one of his speeches he did on the FOI on YouTube, he actually spoke up for the Jews. And when we talked about Louis Farrakhan and whatnot, Louis Farrakhan, some people say he speaks against the Jews or he speaks for the Jews. But as an African person, you should be aware of white America, what their agendas are to the stories of the people, and you should also understand the Jews out of all of them. So I don't think that that's something that you should be naive with. Otherwise, you're fooling yourself. So King Noble made a statement and he said, well, what have the Jews done to black people? The Jews are not running Chicago. They're just in New York with the Italians or they're here and there. When there's records showing you publicly throughout movie industries, Hollywood, even through a lot of black entertainment, 1930s, 1920s on up, and even possibly before the 1920s, but coming on up, you'll see that most of black music, most of your black entertainers and whatnot, who were controlling their whole money and contracts with Jews. When most of these black entertainers passed on and died, even their so-called black loved ones didn't even receive the money. It was Jewish people that received that in return. Same thing with your house nigga Jay-Z, Beyonce, and the list goes on. And what we're saying is that in this new system, we're dealing with the deception of Black United Africa, is that you have Negroes in the conscious community. They have found ways to commercialize black power to a point where they can be able to make millions of dollars. Know the Ledge is one part of that. Ty Fruity in New York, and that pimp nigga Sarnetta. That's another Negro. That they use those different movements and whatnot to be able to pimp the community. And then what happens is when you have brothers such as myself, Path 1, that want to put information out tough and rough the way it is, the way our people are. And, you have to tell yourself that, black folks. You think personally when you're out here with these black devils and these gangbangs, all that, killing each other, these Negroes, Some of them are agents, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, so all of the different issues that really affect us as a people will never really be addressed on because the agenda of the high black elite, I ain't going to say middle class, but the high black elite, their job is to keep this plantation running. And by keeping, I would say, this plantation running, their job is to keep the deception going. So with King Noble, he says that he's going to live outside the white man's reality. Yeah, you see that all on the YouTube. And what he doesn't tell you is that the more people that he recruits to his movements, he takes most of their personal belongings. So if you travel from Texas, Philly, New York, Detroit, if you go to King Noble's reality center in Southside Chicago, you'll see for yourself. And when you go into his nation and whatnot, you take their food, they take everything. He takes everything that you have, and then after he takes everything you have and whatnot, then he tells you that that's part of black love. You know what I'm saying? He also fools around with other black people's wives. That's another thing that's not really being touched on in the black community about all this Negro pimping and this fucking bullshit. And, King Noble side, that jackass side net in New York, both of y'all motherfuckers are one of that example. Just like you got other Negroes up there, in other movements, like Know the Legend and the further goes on. But, they're sitting up there playing games when they're supposed to be putting truth out there and putting information out there for our people. It's not about making you feel good. And I think that's one thing we have to realize. That's becoming Americanized when everything you have to hear has to make you feel comfortable, make you feel some of the shit that make you feel uncomfortable is the shit that saves your life. And, what makes me laugh is how can, other black show hosts, how can you actually come out and, talk about me subliminally and you try to come out after all of my contributions personally for black folk through these programs. These programs is just as much as what you're doing. You just don't see it. Even black people, when you look into most of your college, university, you'll see Negroes with master's degrees, double master's degrees, and those who have college degrees are more stupider than the ones in the black community. So basically the most illiterate black people in the hood who deal with real concrete problems are more intelligent than these intellectual Negroes, or what you call master's degree. Believe me, they're puppets. You know what I'm saying? And I would tell you, bother me and puppets and whatnot. They keep the white boy up. Now, another thing. So most of the different people that come into his nation, he also uses them he uses them for the money that they have. And in his nation, he has rules for a lot of the people that come in that they cannot work. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to receive money. But what's so interesting about King Noble, the so-called black god, is that with this nigga, he goes around humiliating, destroying brothers like Seti, other different teachers, Rashid, other different niggas out there also as well, RBG and whatnot. And more, I can at least say for Sarah Sue and Seti and other people of the Black Power Cartel movement, I would say that they're doing a lot, and they're trying to do the best that they can for our people. And I can respect the brother Seti from his position, whether he respects me or not, we putting this information out here and we're trying to liberate the people. But see, here's the thing: when you have niggas out there that actually want to listen to this information as a form of entertainment and whatnot, your fucking day is coming. I'm going to tell you that right now. When you want to sit here and listen to this like this is a joke. So that's just one different source. Now, back to King Noble. So with the different people that he brings into the nation, those people that he brings into the nation and whatnot, not only does he utilize them for resources and whatnot with his pimping ass, but he also sends most of the black people to the food pantry. Food pantry is what? Government food. In America right now, poverty is what? 14.6. 60 million foreclosures just last year. White devils come out and say that things have calmed down in America. We went from 4% unemployment to what? 7.8. I'm sorry, 6.2, 7.8. You go up to what? 8%. Then you go up to what? 9%. Now, a while ago, we was at 9.8, and then from 9.8, we came down to 9%. It's still fucked up. I mean, personally, I think that's what you should realize. But I understand what it is, especially with a lot of you Negroes on Blog Talk, where I understand what the scoop is, different things. But I'm going to put it to you like this. When these Zeitgeist and these Venus projects and these FEMA coffins and these different programs of these European devil agencies, when these things unfold before your very eyes, which you see on your YouTube and your sets every day, you're going to wish. You're going to wish that you had more brothers around like me.